Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second evening of our online reading festival. This is presented as a supplement to our 2-year project of Shakespeare's Histories. And here this summer, we are letting you hear some of the other playwrights' history plays from the era. We're very pleased tonight to be presenting Christopher Marlowe's Edward II. Probably the most well known of the plays we'll be reading. If you would like to support Brave Spirits and our project Shakespeare's Histories, you can make a donation at our website and, of course, share links for this reading festival. We'll be back next Monday with the next play in our series, which will learn you a little bit about Edward II's son, Edward III. But all right, we're going to go ahead and kick it off, and I'm going to go ahead and very happy to introduce the director of tonight's reading, John Johnson.
Hey everyone, how's it going? This has been a blast, and I'm about to introduce you to our gargantuan cast, starting with Dylan Arredondo. If we could get your names, pronouns, and who you're playing, please.
Great. Hi, my name is Dylan Arredondo. I am reading for Edward II, and my pronouns are he, him.
Now let's hop on over to Omar Cruz. Omar, are you muted?
Hey everybody, my name is Omar Cruz and I'm playing Pierce Gaveston.
Can I get Christina?
Hi everyone, my name is Christina M. Ibarra. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and I'm reading for Prince Edward and King Edward III.
Great. And on to Maria.
Hi, my name is Maria Simmons. I am she, hers, and I'm playing Kent.
Let's get OG.
Hi, my name is Exandri OG. Everyone calls me OG, and my pronouns are he, him, his, and I am playing Archbishop of Canterbury.
Momo.
Hi, my name is Momo Nakamura, and my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm playing Coventry.
Diego.
Hi, my name's Diego Maramba, and my pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the Bishop of Winchester.
Ezra.
Hi, my name is Ezra Tozian. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm playing Warwick.
Allison.
Hi, Allison Harkey, she, her, hers. I am Lancaster.
Naveed.
Hi, my name is Naveed Aziz, or Navi, he, they. I am playing Pembroke.
Andrew.
Andrew Kilpa, he, him, his, playing Arundel.
Kristen.
Hi, my name is Kristen Liu, she, her, hers. I am playing Lester.
Kyoshin.
Hi, my name is Kyoshin Kang. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'll be playing Berkeley.
Tom.
I'm Tom Howley, he, him, his. I'll be playing Mortimer the Elder.
And Aaron.
My name is Aaron Spillane, and I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Mortimer the Younger.
Lisa.
Hi, Lisa Hill Corley, she, her, hers, Spencer the Elder.
Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Ung, and I'll be playing Spencer the Younger.
Adrian.
Hello, I'm Adrian Iglesias, and I'll be playing Baldock, he, him.
Linda.
Hi, I'm Linda Bard, she, her, and I'm playing Trussell.
Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Pesta, she, her, hers, and I'm playing Gurney.
Vanessa.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Chapoy. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will be playing Matrevis.
Dan.
Hi, Dan Westbrook, he, him, and I will be playing Lightborn.
Jonathan.
Hello, Jonathan Del Palmer, he, him, and I will be Sir John of Hynel.
Jennifer. Hello, my name is Jennifer Knight. My pronouns are she, her, and I will be playing Queen Isabella, wife to King Edward. Garnet.
Hi, y'all. I'm Garnet, and I'm reading for Margaret. She, her, hers.
Walter?
Good evening. My name is Walter Riddle, and I pronouns he, him, and I'll be reading for Abbot of Neath.
And Jill.
Hi, I'm Jill Ty, she, her, and I'll be playing everyone else.
All right, and did I miss anyone? We have a huge cast. Everyone has been introduced? Great. Then, oh, Ramton.
Hi, I'm Ramton Vaziri, he, him, and I'm playing Reese Apphowell.
Excellent. All right, then I'm gonna pass this on over to Claire, I believe is the order of operations.
Thank you. My name is Claire Kimball. I'm a dramaturg with Brave Spirits Theater. I just wanted to let everybody know that after our broadcast tonight, there will be an opportunity for a Q&A as well. So if you are joining us on the chat on YouTube, you pass along a question that you'd like us to talk about after the show, please do. We'd be happy to answer any of the burning questions that you have after this show. I think a lot of people are familiar with Shakespeare, but perhaps not quite so familiar with Marlowe and with Edward II. So I'll be getting you oriented with a little bit about the playwright and the play before we get started. Christopher Marlowe was born in February 1564, just a few months before William Shakespeare, to a shoemaker named John and his wife Catherine. He attended Corpus Christi College in Cambridge and started to compose some of his first plays like Dido, Queen of Carthage for a children's company, and then the popular Tamburlaine. He's probably most famous today for his play Dr. Faustus, but it was his two-part Tamburlaine that really helped to usher in a new aesthetic for Elizabethan drama. It was written in unrhymed blank verse with an emotional, persuasive kind of rhetoric, which was very different from the sing-song rhyming couplets that audiences had become accustomed to. Marlowe used exotic locations with exciting and impressive protagonists, and his gift with the rhythm and expressiveness of verse, what dramatist Ben Jonson called his mighty line, have established Marlowe as one of the most important playwrights in early modern England. Marlowe himself, based on what we know, is a bit of a mysterious figure. He was once involved in a street brawl that killed a man. He was caught counterfeiting coins. Some have wondered if he was working as a spy. He also had a reputation as a bold atheist who was accused of promoting heretical ideas. All of these events have, in the centuries since, created a lot of speculation about the playwright and how his penchant for trouble may have contributed to his sudden death. On May 30th, 1593, during an argument over a bill or reckoning, Marlowe was stabbed in a struggle. He was already one of the greatest dramatists, but he was dead before the age of 30. Tonight's play, Edward II, was entered into the Stationer's Register to be published just a few months after his death. Like many other early modern history plays, Marlowe drew a lot of his material from Raphael Holinshed's Chronicles of England, Scotland, and Ireland. It also echoes plays about figures like King John, Richard II, Henry VI, by depicting a weak king whose ineffectiveness breeds conflict and conspiracy, which ultimately leads to his downfall. The text compresses about 20-some years of history into this single play, tracing from the beginning of Edward's reign in 1307 to the first years of his son's rule in 1330. Marlowe, however, focuses much of the play on Edward's controversial relationship with his court favorite, Piers Gaveston, and the various jealousies and rebellions that play out in the English court because of it. As Edward is eventually betrayed and deposed by his own nobles and queen, the play remains a little ambiguous about which side of the conflict the audience should support. From one point of view, the king is being overly swayed and influenced by characters like Gaveston. Historically, Edward's father and his lords opposed the power he was gaining access to because Edward loved him. And this was a problem throughout Edward's reign. The Spencer characters that you'll see were a later source of frustration because once again, he was allowing them to amass too much wealth and too much influence over the kingdom. In fact, it wasn't once, but several times in Edward's life that he was pressured to exile his favorites only to have them come back again. From another point of view, though, the nobles in this play are bristling at the notion that their privilege as nobility, as military leaders with resources that the monarchy leans upon, is slipping away from them. It disturbs them to think that you don't have to be nobly born to rise in status. You just have to win the monarch's favor. They feel entitled to the positions into which they've been born, to their piece of the power pie. But suddenly, emotional alliances are more important than family bloodlines. And then the final aspect of the revolt against Edward that we should consider is the remarkable bond that Marlowe writes for Edward and Gaveston as a significant example of queer relationships in early modern drama. The quality and strength of Edward's attachment to Gaveston comes with a kind of poetry that we don't see him confer on the Spencers or on Baldock. And the lords express how threatened they are by this. We'll hear the elderly Mortimer compare Edward's relationship with Gaveston to Alexander the Great's relationship with Hephaestion, though young Mortimer immediately denies that Edward's wanton humor is the cause of his discontent. The play also emphasizes how the relationship with Gaveston is a source of friction for his wife, Queen Isabella, which prompts her to join young Mortimer in rebellion and place her son on the throne. And Edward's death famously involves the use of a red-hot spit, which suggests that the method of the king's murder seeks to punish him for his sexuality. When we take these elements together as an audience, we begin to question to what extent the king is being persecuted for his romantic affection rather than his policy. His overthrow is perhaps as equally motivated by fear as greed. Marlowe shows us a king who's not measuring up to his subjects' expectations, but is that enough to justify removing him? What are the motives of those who would take control and replace him? Are they any better or more fit to rule? And with those questions in mind, we present Edward II by Christopher Marlowe.
My father is deceased. My father is deceased. Come, Gaveston, and share the kingdom with thy dearest friend. Ah, words that make me surfeit with delight. What greater bliss can hap to Gaveston than live and be the favorite of a king? The sight of London to my exiled eyes is as Elysium to a new-come soul. Not that I love the city or the men, but that it harbors him I hold so dear, the king, upon whose bosom let me lie and with the world be still at enmity. I must have wanton poets, pleasant wits, musicians, that with the touching of a string may draw the pliant king which way I please. Music and poetry is his delight, therefore I'll have Italian masks by night, sweet speeches, comedies, pleasing shows, and in the day, when he shall walk abroad, like sylvan nymphs my pages shall be clad. My men, like satyrs grazing on the lawn, shall with their goat feet dance the antic hay. Sometime a lovely boy in Dian shape, with hair that gilds the water as it glides, crownets of pearl upon his naked arms, and in his sportful hands, an olive tree to hide those parts which men delight to see, shall bathe him in a spring, and there, hard by, one like Actaeon peeping through the grove, shall by the angry goddess be transformed. Such things as these best please his majesty. Here comes my lord the king, and the nobles from the parliament. I'll stand aside. Lancaster.
My lord.
Oh, that Earl of Lancaster do I abhor.
Will you not grant me this? In spite of them, I'll have my will, and these two Mortimers that cross me thus shall know I am displeased.
If you love us, my lord, hate Gaveston.
Oh, that villain Mortimer, I'll be his death.
Mine uncle here, this earl, and I myself were sworn to your father at his death that he should ne'er return into the realm. And now, my lord, ere I will break my oath, this sword of mine that should offend your foes shall sleep within the scabbard at thy need.
Mordieu.
Well, Mortimer, I'll make thee rue these words. Beseems it thee to contradict thy king? I will have Gaveston, and you shall know what danger 'tis to stand against your king.
Well done, Ned.
My lord, why do you thus incense your peers that naturally would love and honor you, but for that base and obscure Gaveston? 4 earldoms have I besides Lancaster, Derby, Salisbury, Lincoln, Leicester. These will I sell to give my soldiers pay ere Gaveston shall stay within the realm. Therefore, if he be come, expel him straight.
Barons and earls, your pride hath made you mute. Brother, revenge it, and these their heads preach upon poles for trespasses of their tongues.
Oh, our heads?
Aye, yours, and therefore I would wish you grant.
Bridle thy anger, gentle Mortimer.
I cannot, nor I will not. I must speak. Cousin, our hands, I hope, shall fence our heads, and strike off his that makes you threaten us. Come, uncle, let us leave this brain-sick king, and henceforth parley with our naked swords.
Wiltshire hath men enough to save our heads.
All Warwickshire will leave him for my sake.
And northward Lancaster hath many friends. Adieu, my lord, and either change your mind, or look to see the throne where you should sit, to float in blood, and at thy wanton head the glazing head of thy base minion throne.
I cannot brook these haughty menaces. Am I a king, and must be o'erruled? Brother, display my ensigns in the field, and I'll bandy with the barons and the earls, and either die or live with Gaveston.
I can no longer keep me from my lord.
What, Gaveston? Welcome. Kiss not my hand. Embrace me, Gaveston, as I do thee. Not Hylas was more mourned for of Hercules than thou hast been of me since thy exile.
And since I went from hence, no soul in hell hath felt more torment than poor Gaveston.
I know it. Brother, welcome home, my friend. Now let the treacherous Mortimers conspire and that high-minded Earl of Lancaster. I have my wish, in that I joy thy sight. I here create thee Lord High Chamberlain, Chief Secretary to the state and me, Earl of Cornwall, King and Lord of Man.
My lord? These titles far exceed my worth.
Brother, the least of these may well suffice for one of greater birth than Gaveston.
Cease, brother, for I cannot brook these words. Thy worth, sweet friend, is far above my gifts. Therefore, to equal it, receive my heart. If for these dignities thou be envied, I'll give thee more. For, but to honor thee, fearest thou thy person? Thou shalt have a guard. Want'st thou gold? Go to my treasury. Wouldst thou be loved and feared? Receive my seal. Save or condemn, and in our name command whatso thy mind affects or fancy likes.
It shall suffice me to enjoy your love, which whiles I have, I think myself as great as Caesar riding in the Roman streets, with captive kings at his triumphant car.
Whither goes my lord of Coventry so fast?
To celebrate your father's exequies. But is that wicked Gaveston returned?
Aye, priest, and lives to be revenged on thee that wert the only cause of his exile.
'Tis true, and but for reverence of these rows, thou shouldst not plod 1 foot beyond this place.
I did no more than I was bound to do. And, Gaveston, unless thou be reclaimed, as then I did incense the Parliament, so I will now, and thou shalt back to France.
Saving your reverence, you must pardon me.
throw off his golden mitre, rend his stole, and in the channel christen him anew.
Ah, brother, lay no violent hands on him, for he'll complain into the sea of Rome.
Let him complain into the sea of hell. I'll be revenged on my exile.
No, spare his life, but seize upon his goods. Be thou Lord Bishop, and receive his rents, and make him serve thee as thy chaplain. I give him thee. Here, use him as thou wilt.
He shall to prison, and there die in bolts.
Aye, to the Tower, the Fleet, or where thou wilt.
For this offense, be thou accursed of God.
But in the meantime, Gaveston, away, and take possession of his house and goods. Come, follow me, and thou shalt have my guard to see it done and bring thee safe again.
What should a priest do with so fair a house? A prison may beseem his holiness.
It's true. The bishop is in the Tower, and goods and body given to Gaveston.
What, will they tyrannize upon the church? Ah, wicked king, accursed Gaveston. This ground which is corrupted with their steps shall be their timeless sepulchre or mine.
Well, let that peevish Frenchman guard him, sure. Unless his breast be sword-proof, he shall die.
How now? Why droops the Earl of Lancaster?
Wherefore is Guy of Warwick discontent?
That villain Gaveston is made an earl.
An earl?
Aye, and besides, Lord Chamberlain of the realm, and secretary too, and Lord of Man.
We may not, nor we will not suffer this.
Why post we not from hence to levy men?
Arm in arm the king and he doth march. Nay, more, the guard upon his lordship waits, and all the court begins to flatter him.
Thus, leaning on the shoulder of the king, he nods and scorns and smiles at those that pass.
Doth no man take exception at the slave?
All stomach him, but none dare speak a word.
That bewrays their baseness, Lancaster. Were all the earls and barons of my mind, we'd hale him from the bosom of the king, and at the court gate hang the peasant up.
Here comes my lord of Canterbury's grace.
His countenance betrays he is displeased.
First were his sacred garments rent and torn. Then laid they violent hands upon him. Next, himself imprisoned and his goods seized. This certified the Pope.
My lord, will you take arms against the king?
What need I? God himself is up in arms when violence is offered to the church.
Then will you join us that be his peers to banish or behead Gaveston?
What else, my lords? For it concerns me near. The bishopric of Coventry is his.
Madame, whither walks your majesty so fast?
Unto the forest, gentle Mortimer, to live in grief and baleful discontent. For now my lord the king regards me not, but dotes upon the love of Gaveston. He claps his cheeks and hangs about his neck, and smiles in his face and whispers in his ears, and when I come he frowns, as who should say, go whither thou wilt, seeing I have Gaveston.
Is it not strange that he is thus bewitched?
Madame, return unto the court again. That sly inveigling Frenchman we'll exile, or lose our lives. And yet, ere that day come, the king shall lose his crown. For we have power, and courage too, to be revenged at full.
But yet lift not your swords against the king.
No, but we will lift Gaveston from hence.
And war must be the means. Hey, still.
And let him stay. For rather than my lord shall be oppressed with civil mutinies, I will endure a melancholy life, and let him frolic with his minion.
My lords, to ease all this, but hear me speak. We and the rest, that are his counselors, will meet, and with a general consent, confirm his banishment with our hands and seals.
What we confirm, the king will frustrate.
Then may we lawfully revolt from him.
But say, my lord, where shall this meeting be?
At the new temple.
Content.
And in the meantime, I'll entreat you all to cross to Lambeth, and there stay with me.
Come then, let's away.
Madame, farewell.
Farewell, sweet Mortimer, and for my sake, forbear to levy arms against the king.
Aye, if words will serve. If not, I must.
Here is the form of Gaveston's exile. May it please your lordship to subscribe your name.
Give me the paper.
Quick, my lord, I long to write my name.
But I long more to see him banished hence.
The name of Mortimer shall fright the king, unless he be declined from that base peasant.
What? Are you moved that Gaveston sits here? It is our pleasure. We will have it so.
Your grace doth well to place him by your side, for nowhere else the new earl is so safe.
Oh, what man of noble birth can brook this sight? See what a scornful look the peasant casts.
Can kingly lions fawn on creeping ants?
Ignoble vassal, that, like Phaeton, aspirest unto the guidance of the sun.
Their downfall is at hand. Their force is down. We will not thus be faced and overpeered.
Lay hands on that traitor Mortimer.
Lay hands on that traitor Gaveston.
Is this the duty that you owe me?
We know our duties. Let him know his peers.
Whither will you bear him? Stay, or ye shall die.
We are no traitors, therefore threaten not.
My lord, you may not thus disparage us. Away, I say, with hateful Gaveston.
And with the Earl of Kent that favors him.
Nay then, lay violent hands upon your king. Here, Mortimer, sit thou in Edward's throne. Brick, Lancaster, wear you my crown. Was there a king thus o'erruled as I?
Learn then to rule us better, and the realm.
What we have done, our heart blood shall maintain.
Think you that we can brook this upstart's pride?
Anger and wrathful fury stops my speech.
Why are you not moved? Be patient, my lord, and see what we, your counselors, have done.
My lords, now let us all be resolute, and either have our wills or lose our lives.
Meet you for this, proud overdaring peers.
You know that I am legate to the Pope. On your allegiance to the See of Rome, subscribe, as we have done, to his exile.
Curse him, if you refuse, and then may we depose him and elect another king.
Aye, there it goes. But yet I will not yield.
Then linger not, my lord, but do it straight.
Remember how the bishop was abused? Either banish him that was the cause thereof, or I will presently discharge these lords of duty and allegiance to thee.
It boots me not to threat. I must speak fair. The legate of the Pope will be obeyed. My lord, you shall be Chancellor of the realm. Thou, Lancaster, High Admiral of the Fleet. Young Mortimer and his uncle shall be earls. And you, Lord Warwick, President of the North, and thou of Wales. If this content you not, make several kingdoms of this monarchy and share it equally among you all, so I may have some nook or corner left to frolic with my dearest Gaveston.
Nothing shall alter us. We are resolved.
Come, subscribe.
Why should you love him, whom the world hates so?
Because he loves me more than all the world?
You that are princely born should shake him off. For shame, subscribe, and let him depart.
Urge him, my lord.
Are you content to banish him the realm?
I see I must, and therefore am content. Instead of ink, I'll write it with my tears.
The king is lovesick for his minion.
'Tis done, and now accursed hand fall off.
Give it me. I'll have it published in the streets.
I'll see him presently dispatched away.
Now is my heart at ease.
And so is mine.
This will be good news to the common sword.
Well, be it or no, he shall not linger here.
How fast they run to banish him I love. They would not stir were it to do me good. Why should a king be subject to a priest?
My lord, I hear it whispered everywhere that I am banished and must fly from the land.
'Tis true, my sweet Gaveston. And thou must hence, or I shall be deposed. But I will reign to be revenged on them. And therefore, sweet friend, take it patiently. Live where thou wilt, I'll send gold enough. And long thou shalt not stay, or if thou dost, I'll come to thee. My love shall ne'er decline.
Is all my hope turned to this hell of grief?
Rend not my heart with thy too piercing words. Thou from this land, I from myself am banished.
To go from hence grieves not poor Gaveston, but to forsake you, in whose gracious looks the blessedness of Gaveston remains. For nowhere else seeks he felicity.
And only this torments my wretched soul, that whether I will or no, thou must depart. Be governor of Ireland in my stead, and there abide till fortune call thee home. Here, take my picture, and let me wear thine. Oh, might I keep thee here as I do this. Happy were I, but now most miserable.
'Tis something to be pitied of a king.
Thou shalt not hence. I'll hide thee, Gaveston.
I shall be found, and then 'twill grieve me more.
Kind words and mutual talk make our grief greater. Therefore, with dumb embracement, let us part. Stay, Gaveston. I cannot leave thee thus.
For every look my love drops down a tear. Seeing I must go, do not renew my sorrow.
The time is little that thou hast to stay, and therefore give me leave to look my fill. But come, sweet friend. I'll bear thee on my way.
No, the peers will frown.
I pass not for their anger. Come, let's go. Oh, that we might as well return as go.
Whither goes my lord?
Fawn not on me, French strumpet. Get thee gone.
On whom but on my husband should I fawn?
On Mortimer, with whom, ungentle queen, I judge no more. Judge you the rest, my lord.
In saying this, thou wrongst me, Gaveston.
I mean not so. Your grace must pardon me.
Thou art too familiar with that, Mortimer, and by thy means is Gaveston exiled. But I would wish thee reconcile the lords, or thou shalt ne'er be reconciled to me.
Your highness knows it lies not in my power.
Away then, touch me not. Come, Gaveston.
Villain, 'tis thou that robs me of my lord.
Madam, 'tis you that robbed me of my lord.
Speak not unto her. Let her droop and pine.
Wherein, my lord, have I deserved these words? Witness the tears that Isabella sheds. Witness this heart that sighing for thee breaks.
And witness heaven, how dear thou art to me. There weep. For till my Gaveston be repealed, assure thyself thou comest not in my sight.
Oh. Miserable and distressed queen. Like frantic Juno will I fill the earth with ghastly murmur of my sighs and cries. For never doted Jove on Ganymede so much as he on cursed Gaveston, but that will more exasperate his wrath. I must entreat him. I must speak him fair, and be a means to call home Gaveston, and yet he'll ever dote on Gaveston, and I am forever miserable.
Look, where the sister of the King of France sits wringing of her hands and beats her breasts.
The king, I fear, hath ill-treated her.
Hard is the heart that injures such a saint.
I know 'tis long of Gaveston she weeps.
Why, he is gone.
Madame, how fares your grace?
Mortimer, now breaks the king's hate forth, and he confesses that he loves me not.
Cry quittance, madam, then, and love not him.
No, rather will I die 1,000 deaths, and yet I love in vain. He'll ne'er love me.
Fear ye not, madam. Now his minion's gone. His wanton humor will be quickly left.
Oh, never, Lancaster. I am enjoined to sue unto you all for his repeal. This wills my lord, and this must I perform, or else be banished from his highness' presence.
For his repeal, madam. He comes not back, unless the sea cast up his shipwrecked body.
To behold so sweet a sight as that, none here but would run his horse to death.
But madam, would you have us call him home?
Ay, Mortimer, for till he be restored, the angry king hath banished me the court, and therefore, as thou lovest and tenderest me, be thou my advocate unto these peers.
What would you have me plead for Gaveston?
Oh, plead for him that will. I am resolved.
Oh, Lancaster, let him dissuade the king, for 'tis against my will he should return.
Then speak not for him. Let the peasant go.
'Tis for myself I speak, and not for him.
No speaking will prevail, and therefore cease.
Fair queen, forbear to angle for the fish, which, being caught, strikes him that takes it dead. I mean that vile torpedo, Gaveston, that now I hope floats on the Irish seas.
Sweet Mortimer, sit down by me a while, and I will tell thee reasons of such weight as thou wilt soon subscribe to his repeal.
It is impossible, but speak your mind.
Then thus, but none shall hear it but ourselves.
My lords, albeit the queen win Mortimer, will you be resolute and hold with me?
Oh, not I. Against my nephew?
Fear not, the queen's words cannot alter him.
No? Do but mark how earnestly she pleads.
And see how coldly his looks make denial.
She smiles. Hell for my life, his mind is changed.
I'll rather lose his friendship than grant.
Well, of necessity it must be so. My lords, that I abhor base Gaveston, I hope your honors make no question. And therefore, though I plead for his repeal, 'tis not for his sake, but to our avail. Nay, for the realm's behoof, and for the king's.
Fie, Mortimer, dishonor not thyself. Can this be true? 'Twas good to banish him? And is this true, to call him home again? Such reasons make white black and dark night day.
Dear Lancaster, mark the respect.
In no respect can contraries be true.
Yet, good my lord, hear what he can allege.
All that he speaks is nothing. We are resolved.
Do you not wish that Gaveston were dead?
I would he were.
Why then, my lord, but give me leave to speak.
But, nephew, do not play the sophister.
This which I urge is of a burning zeal to mend the king and do our country good.
Mark you but that, my lord of Lancaster.
But were he here, detested as he is, how easily might some base knave be suborned to greet his lordship with a poniard, and none so much as blame the murderer, but rather praise him for that brave attempt.
He saith true.
Aye, but how chance this was not done before?
Because, my lords, it was not thought upon. 'Twill make him veil the top flag of his pride and fear to offend the meanest nobleman.
But how if he do not, nephew?
Then may we, with some color, rise in arms. For howsoever we have borne it out, 'tis treason to be up against the king. So shall we have the people of our side. And when the commons and the nobles join, 'tis not the king can buckler Gaveston.
On that condition, Lancaster will grant.
And so will Pembroke and I.
And I.
In this count me highly gratified. And Mortimer will rest at your command.
And when this favor Isabel forgets, then let her live abandoned and forlorn. This news will glad him much.
Did never sorrow go so near my heart as doth the want of my sweet Gaveston.
Hark how he harps upon his minion.
My heart is as an anvil unto sorrow, which beats upon it like the Cyclops hammers, and with the noise turns me into my giddy brain and makes me frantic for my Gaveston.
Diablo, what passions call you these?
My gracious lord, I come to bring you news.
That you have parleyed with your Mortimer?
That Gaveston, my lord, shall be repealed.
Repealed? The news is too sweet to be true.
But will you love me if you find it so?
If it be so, what will not Edward do?
For Gaveston, but not for Isabel.
For thee, fair queen, if thou lovest Gaveston, I'll hang a golden tongue about thy neck, seeing thou hast pleaded with so good success.
No other jewels hang about my neck than these, my lord, nor let me have more wealth than I may fetch from this rich treasury. Oh, how a kiss revives poor Isabel.
Once more receive my hand, and let this be a second marriage twixt thyself and me.
And may it prove more happy than the first.
Courageous Lancaster, embrace thy king. Live thou with me as my companion.
This salutation overjoys my heart.
Warwick shall be my chiefest counselor. Chide me, sweet Warwick, if I go astray.
Slay me, my lord, when I offend your grace.
In solemn triumphs and in public shows, Pembroke shall bear the sword before the king.
And with the sword, Pembroke will fight for you.
But wherefore walks young Mortimer aside? I make thee here Lord Marshal of the realm.
My lord, I'll marshal so your enemies as England shall be quiet and you safe.
And as for you, Lord Mortimer of Chirk, be you the general of the levied troops that now are ready to assail the Scots.
Oh, this your grace hath highly honored me, for with my nature war doth best agree.
Now is the King of England rich and strong, having the love of his renowned peers.
Aye, Isabel, ne'er was my heart so light. Clerk of the crown, direct our warrant forth for Gaveston to Ireland.
Nephew, I must to Scotland. Now, thou stayest here. Leave now to oppose thyself against the king. Thou seest by nature he is mild and calm, and seeing his mind so dotes on Gaveston, let him without controlment have his will. The mightiest of kings have had their minions. Great Alexander loved Hephaestion. The conquering Hercules for Hylas wept, and for Patroclus stern Achilles drooped. The Roman Tully loved Octavius. Grave Socrates, wild Alcibiades. Now, then let his grace, whose youth is flexible, and promise as much as we can wish, freely enjoy that vain, light-headed earl, for riper years will wean him from such toys.
Uncle, his wanton humor grieves not me. But this I scorn, that one so basely born should by his sovereign's favor grow so pert and riot with it the treasure of the realm. While soldiers mutiny for want of pay, he wears a lord's revenue on his back, and Midas-like, he jets it in the court, while others walk below, the king and he, from out a window, laugh at such as we, and flout our train, and jest at our attire. Uncle, 'tis this that makes me impatient.
But nephew, now you see the king is changed.
Then so am I, and live to do him service. But while eyes have a sword, a hand, a heart, I will not yield to such an upstart. You know my mind. Come, uncle, let's away.
Spencer, seeing that our lord the Earl of Gloucester is dead, which of the nobles dost thou mean to serve?
Not Mortimer, nor any of his side, because the king and he are enemies. The liberal Earl of Cornwall is the man, on whose good fortune Spencer's hope depends.
What mean you then to be his follower?
No, his companion, for he loves me well, and would have once preferred me to the king.
But he is banished. There's small hope of him.
Aye, for a while. But Baldock, mark the end. A friend of mine told me in secrecy that he's repealed and sent for back again. And even now a post came from the court with letters to Our Lady from the King. And as she read, she smiled. Which makes me think it is about her lover Gaveston.
But I had thought the match had been broke off, and that his banishment had changed her mind.
Our Lady's first love is not wavering. My life or thine, she will have Gaveston.
And hope I by her means to be preferred, having read unto her since she was a child.
Well, then, Baldock, you must cast the scholar off and learn to court it like a gentleman. You must be proud, bold, pleasant, resolute, and now and then stab, as occasion serves.
Spencer, thou know'st I hate such formal toys, and use them but of mere hypocrisy. I am none of these common pedants, that cannot speak without propterea quod.
But one of those that saith quando quidem, and hath a special gift to form a verb.
Leave off this jesting. Here my lady comes.
The grief for his exile was not so much as is the joy of his returning home. The letter came from my sweet Gaveston. What needest thou, love, thus to excuse thyself? I know thou couldst not come and visit me. Now to the letter of my lord the king, he wills me repair unto the court and meet my Gaveston. Why do I stay? Seeing that he talks thus of my marriage day, who's there? Baldock, see that my coach be ready. I must hence.
It shall be done, madam.
And meet me at the Park Pale presently. Spencer, stay you and bear me company, for I have joyful news to tell thee of. My lord of Cornwall is coming over and will be at the court as soon as we.
I knew the king would have him home again.
If all things sort out as I hope they will, thy service, Spencer, shall be thought upon.
I humbly thank your ladyship.
Come, lead the way. I long till I am there.
The wind is good. I wonder why he stays. I fear me he is wrecked upon the sea.
Look, Lancaster, how passionate he is, and still his mind runs on his minion.
My lord.
How now? What news? Is Gaveston arrived?
Nothing but Gaveston. What means your grace? You have matters of more weight to think upon. The King of France sets foot in Normandy.
A trifle. We'll expel him when we please.
Look, where his lordship come.
My Gaveston. Welcome to Tynemouth. Welcome to thy friend. Thy absence made me droop and pine away.
Oh, sweet lord and king, your speech preventeth mine. Yet have I words left to express my joy. The shepherd, nipped with biting winter's rage, frolics not more to see the painted spring than I do to behold your majesty.
Will none of you salute my Gaveston?
Salute him? Yes. Welcome, Lord Chamberlain.
Welcome is the good Lord of Cornwall.
Welcome, Lord Governor of the Isle of Man.
Welcome, Master Secretary.
Brother, do you hear them?
Still will these earls and barons use me thus.
My lord, I cannot brook these injuries.
Ay me, poor soul, when these begin to jar.
Return it to their throats. I'll be their warrant.
The base-leaden earls that glory in your birth. Go sit at home and eat your tenants' beef, and come not here to scoff at Gaveston.
Yet I disdain not to do this for you.
Treason! Treason! Where's the traitor?
Here, here!
Convey hence, Gaveston. They'll murder you.
All the life of thee shall salve this foul disgrace.
Villain thy life, unless I miss my name.
Ah!
Ah!
Ah! Ah! Ah!
Furious Mortimer, what hast thou done?
No more than I would answer were he slain.
Yes, more than thou canst answer, though he live. Dear shall you both abide this riotous deed. Out of my presence, come not near the court.
I'll not be barred the court for Gaveston.
We'll hale him by the ears unto the block.
Look to your own heads. His is sure enough.
Look to your own crown if you back him thus.
Nay, all of them conspire to cross me thus. But if I live, I'll tread upon their heads. Come, Edmund, let's away and levy men. 'Tis war that must abate these barons' pride.
Let's to our castles, for the king is moved.
Moved may he be, and perish in his wrath.
Cousin, it is no dealing with him now. He means to make us stoop by force of arms. And therefore, let us jointly here protest to prosecute that Gaveston to the death.
By heaven, the abject villain shall not live.
I'll have his blood, or die in seeking it.
The like oath Pembroke takes.
And so doth Lancaster. Now, send our heralds to defy the king, and make the people swear to put him down.
Letters. From whence?
From Scotland, my lord.
Why? How now, cousin? How fare all our friends?
My uncle's taken prisoner by the Scots.
We'll have him ransomed, man. Be of good cheer.
They rate his ransom at £5,000. Who should defray this money but the king, seeing he is taken prisoner in his wars? I'll to the king.
Do, cousin, and I'll bear thee company.
Meantime, my Lord of Pembroke and myself will to Newcastle here and gather head.
About it, then, and we will follow you.
Be resolute and full of secrecy.
I warrant you.
Cousin, and if he will not ransom him, I'll thunder such appeal unto his ears as never subject did unto king.
Content. I'll bear my part. Holla, who's there?
How now? What noise is this? Who have we here? It's you.
Nay, stay, my lord. I come to bring you news. My uncle is taken by the Scots.
Then ransom him.
'Twas in your wars. You should ransom him.
And you will ransom him, or else...
What, Mortimer? You will not threaten him.
Quiet yourself. You shall have the broad seal to gather for him throughout the realm.
Your minion, Gaveston, hath taught you this.
My lord, the family of the Mortimers are not so poor, but would they sell their land, 'twould levy men enough to anger you. We never beg, but use such prayers as these.
Shall I still be haunted thus?
Nay, now you are here alone, I'll speak my mind.
And so will I, and then, my lord, farewell.
The idle triumphs, mask, lascivious shows, and prodigal gifts bestowed on Gaveston have drawn thy treasury dry and made thee weak. The murmuring commons, overstretched, break.
Look for rebellion. Look to be disposed. Thy garrisons are beaten out of France, and lame and poor lie groaning at the gates.
The haughty Dane commands the narrow seas, while in the harbor ride thy ships unrigged.
What foreign prince sends thee ambassadors?
Who loves thee but a sort of flatterers.
Thy gentle queen, sole sister to Valois, complains that thou hast left her all forlorn.
Thy court is naked, being bereft of those that would make a king seem glorious unto the world.
The northern borderers, seeing their houses burnt, their wives and children slain, run up and down, cursing the name of thee and Gaveston.
When wert thou in the field with banner spread? But once? And then thy soldiers marched like players, with garish robes, not armor, and thyself bedaubed with gold, rode laughing at the rest.
If you be moved, revenge it as you can. Look next to see us with our ensigns spread.
Ah! Affright a lion? Edward, unfold thy paws and let their lives' blood slake thy fury's hunger.
My lord, I see your love to Gaveston will be the ruin of the realm and you. For now the wrathful nobles threatens war, and therefore, brother, banish him forever.
Art thou an enemy to my Gaveston?
Aye, and it grieves me that I rid him.
Traitor, begone! Whine thou with Mortimer.
So I, then Gaveston.
Out of my sight, and trouble me no more.
No marvel though thou scorn thy noble peers when I, my brother, am rejected thus.
Away! Poor Gaveston, thou hast no friend but me. Do what they can. We'll live in Tynemouth here, And so I walk with him about the walls. What care I, though the earls begirt us round? Here comes she that is cause of all these jars.
My lord, 'tis thought the earls are up in arms.
Aye, and 'tis likewise thought you favor them.
Thus do you still suspect me without cause?
Uncle, speak more to the queen.
My lord, dissemble with her. Speak her fair.
Pardon me, sweet, I forgot myself.
Your pardon is quickly got of Isabel.
The younger Mortimer is grown so brave that to my face he threatens civil wars.
Why don't you commit him to the tower?
I dare not, for the people love him well.
Why then we'll have him privily made away.
Lord Lancaster and he had both caroused a bowl of poison to each other's health. But let them go. And tell me, what are these?
Two of my father's servants, whilst he lived. May it please your grace to entertain them now.
Tell me, where wast thou born? What is thine arms?
My name is Baldock, and my gentry I fetch from Oxford, not from heraldry.
The fitter art thou, Baldock, for my turn. Wait on me, and I'll see thou shalt not want.
I humbly thank your majesty.
Knowest thou him, Gaveston?
Aye, my lord. His name is Spencer. He is well allied. For my sake, let him wait upon your grace. Scarce shall you find a man of more desert.
Then, Spencer, wait upon me. For his sake, I'll grace thee with a higher style ere long.
No greater titles happen unto me than to be favored of your majesty.
Cousin, this day shall be your marriage feast. And Gaveston, think that I love thee well, to wed thee to our niece, the only heir unto the Earl of Gloucester, late deceased.
I know, my lord, many will stomach me, but I respect neither their love nor hate.
The headstrong barons shall not limit me. He that I list to favor shall be great. Come, let's away, and when the marriage ends, have it the rebels and their accomplices.
My lord, the love of this our native land, I come to join you.
I fear me you are sent of policy to undermine us with a show of love.
He is your brother. Therefore we have cause to cast the worst and doubt of your revolt.
Mine honor shall be hostage of my truth, if that will not suffice. Farewell, my lords.
Stay, Edmund. Never was a Plantagenet false of his word, and therefore we trust of thee.
What's the reason you should leave him now?
I have informed of the Earl of Lancaster.
And it sufficeth. Now, my lords, know this, that Gaveston is secretly arrived, and here in Tynemouth frolics with the king. Let us, with these our followers, scale the walls and suddenly surprise them unawares.
I'll give the onset.
And I'll follow thee.
Drums, strike alarm. Raise them from their sport. Ring aloud the knell of Gaveston.
None be so hardy as to touch the king, but neither spare you Gaveston nor his friends.
Fly, my lords. The earls have got the hold. Take shipping and away to Scarborough. Spencer and I will post away by land.
Oh, stay, my lord. They will not injure you.
I will not trust them. Gaveston, away.
Farewell, my lord.
Lady, farewell.
Farewell, sweet uncle, till we meet again.
Farewell, sweet Gaveston. And farewell, niece.
No, farewell to poor Isabel, thy queen.
Yes, for Mortimer, thy lover's sake.
Heavens can witness I love none but you. From my embracements thus he breaks away. Oh, that these tears that drizzle from mine eyes had power to mollify his stony heart, that when I had him we might never part.
I wonder how he escaped.
Who's this? The queen.
Aye, Mortimer, the miserable queen, whose pining heart her inward sighs have blasted, and body with continual mourning wasted.
Cease to lament, and tell us, where's the king?
What would you with the king? Is it him you seek?
No, madam, but that cursed Gaveston. Tell us where he remains, and he shall die.
He's gone by water into Scarborough. Pursue him quickly. He cannot escape. The king hath left him, and his train is small.
We're slow, no time. Sweet Lancaster, let's march.
How comes it that the king and he is parted?
That thus your army, going several ways, might be of lesser force, and with the power that he intendeth presently to raise, be easily suppressed. Therefore, be gone.
Here in the river rides a Flemish hoy. Let's all aboard and follow him amain.
The wind that bears him hence will fill our sails. Come, come, aboard. 'Tis but an hour's sailing.
Madame, stay you within this castle here.
No, Mortimer, I'll to my lord the king.
Nay, rather sail with us to Scarborough.
You know the king is so suspicious, as if he hear I have but talked with you, mine honor will be called in question. And therefore, gentle Mortimer, be gone.
Madame, I cannot stay to answer you, but think of Mortimer as he deserves.
So well hast thou deserved, sweet Mortimer, as Isabel could live with thee forever. In vain I look for love at Edward's hand, whose eyes are fixed on none but Gaveston. Yet once more I'll importune him with prayer. If he be strange and not regard my words, then my son and I will over into France, and to the king my brother there complain how Gaveston hath robbed me of his love. But yet I hope my sorrows will have end, and Gaveston this blessed day be slain.
Yet, lusty lords, I have escaped your hands, and though divorced from King Edward's eyes, yet liveth Pierce of Gaveston unsurprised, to see his royal sovereign once again.
Upon him, soldiers, take away his weapons.
Thou proud disturber of thy country's peace, base flatterer, yield.
King Edward is not here to buckler thee.
Go, soldiers, take him hence, for by my sword his head shall off. Gaveston, short warning shall serve thy turn. It is our country's cause that here severely we will execute upon thy person. Hang him at the bow.
My lord.
Soldiers, have him away. But, for thou wert the favorite of the king, thou shalt have so much honor at our hands.
I thank you all, my lords. And I perceive that heading is one, and hanging is the other, and death is all.
How now, my lord of Arundel?
My lords, King Edward greets you all by me.
Arundel, say your message.
His Majesty, hearing that you have taken Gaveston, entreateth you by me. Yet but he may see him before he dies. For why, he says, and sends you word, he knows that die he shall, and if you gratify his grace so far, he will be mindful of the courtesy.
How now?
Renowned Edward, how thy name revives poor Gaveston.
No, it needeth not. Arundel, we will gratify the king in other matters. He must pardon us in this. Soldiers, away with him.
Thus we'll gratify the king. We'll send his head by thee. Let him bestow his tears on that, for that is all he gets of Gaveston, or else his senseless trunk.
Not so, my lord, lest he bestow more cost in burying him than he hath ever earned.
My lords, it is his Majesty's request, and in the honor of a king he swears he will but talk with him and send him back.
When? Can you tell? For Gaveston will, if he sees him once, violate any promise to possess him.
Then if you will not trust his grace in keep, my lords, I will be pledged for his return.
'Tis honorable in thee to offer this. But, for we know that thou art a noble gentleman, we will not wrong thee so, to make away a true man for a thief.
How meanst thou, Mortimer? This is over base.
Away, base groom! Robber of the king's renown, question with thy companions and mates.
My lord Mortimer, and you, my lords each one, to gratify the king's request therein touching the sending of this Gaveston, because his Majesty so earnestly desires to see the man before his death. I will upon mine honor undertake to carry him and bring him back again, provided this, that you, my lord of Ariandale, will join me.
Pembroke, what wilt thou do? Cause yet more bloodshed?
My lords, I will not overwoo your honors, but if you dare trust Pembroke with the prisoner, upon mine oath I will return him back.
O Lord of Lancaster, what say you in this?
Why, I say, let him go on Pembroke's word.
And you, Lord Mortimer?
I say you, Lord of Warwick.
Nay, do your pleasures. I know how 'twill prove.
Then give him to me.
Sweet sovereign, yet I come to see thee ere I die.
Yet not perhaps, if Warwick's wit and policy prevail.
My lord of Pembroke, we deliver him to you. Return him on your honor. Sound away.
My lord, you shall go with me. My house is not far hence.
It is a very kindly spoke, my lord of Pembroke. Your honor hath an adamant of power to draw a prince.
So, my lord, come hither. James, I do commit this Gaveston to thee. Be thou this night his keeper. In the morning, we will discharge thee of thy charge. Begone!
Unhappy Gaveston, whither goest thou now? Weaponless must I fall and die in bands?
Go, take the villain. Soldiers, come away. Come, let thy shadow parley with King Edward.
Treacherous Earl, shall I not see the king?
The king of heaven, perhaps. No other king. Away.
I long to hear an answer from the barons touching my friend, my dearest Gaveston. Ah, Spencer, not the riches of my realm can ransom him. I shall never see my lovely peers of Gaveston again. The barons o'erbear him with their pride.
My lord, pardon my speech. Strike off their heads and let them preach on poles. No doubt such lessons they will teach the rest and learn obedience to their lawful king.
Yes, gentle Spencer, we have been too mild, too kind to them, but now have drawn our sword. And if they send me not my Gaveston, we'll steal it on their crests and pull their tops.
Mm-hmm.
Long live my sovereign, the noble Edward.
Welcome, old man. Comest thou in Edward's aid?
Lo, with a band of bowmen and of pikes, brown bills, and targeters, 400 strong, sworn to defend King Edward's royal right, I come in person to your majesty. Spencer, the father of Hugh Spencer there, bound to your highness everlastingly for favor done in him unto us all.
Thy father, Spencer.
True. And it like your grace that pours, in lieu of all your goodness shown, his life, my lord, before your princely feet.
Welcome 10,000 times, old man, again. Spencer, this love, this kindness to thy king argues thy noble mind and disposition. Spencer, I here create thee Earl of Wiltshire, and daily will enrich thee with our favor. Soldiers, a largesse, and thrice welcome all.
My lord, here comes the queen.
Madam, what news?
News of dishonor, lord, and discontent. That Lord Valois, our brother, King of France, because your highness hath been slack in homage, has seized Normandy into his hands.
Tush, Sib, if this be all, Valois and I will soon be friends again. We will employ you and our little son. You shall go parley with the King of France. Boy, see you bear you bravely to the king, and do your message with a majesty.
Commit not to my youth things of more weight than fits a prince so young as I to bear. And fear not, lord and father. Heaven's great beams on Atlas's shoulder shall not lie more safe than shall your charge committed to my trust.
With all the haste we can dispatch you hence, and go in peace and leave us in wars at home.
And natural wars, where subjects brave their king. God end them once. My lord, I take my leave to make my preparation for France.
What, Lord Arundel, dost thou come alone?
Yea, my good lord, for Gaveston is dead.
Traitors, have they put my friend to death? Tell me, Arundel, died he ere thou camest, or didst thou see my friend take his death?
Neither, my lord, for as he was surprised, I did your highness message to them all, that I would undertake to carry him unto your highness and to bring him back.
And tell me, would the rebels deny me that?
Ah, proud recreants.
Yea, Spencer, traitors all.
And found them at the first inexorable. And when they flatly had denied, refusing to receive me pledge for him, the Earl of Pembroke mildly thus bespake, my lord, because our sovereign sends for him, and promiseth he shall be safe returned, I will this undertake, to have him hence and see him delivered to your hands.
Well, and how fortunes it that he came not?
The Earl of Warwick seized him on his way. For being delivered unto Pembroke's men, the lord rode home thinking his prisoner safe. But ere he came, Warwick in ambush lay.
A bloody part, flatly against the law of arms.
Oh, shall I speak, or shall I sigh and die?
My lord, prefer your vengeance to the sword. Let them not unrevenged murder your friends. Advance your standard, Edward, in the field.
By earth, the common mother of us all, by heaven and all the moving orbs thereof, I will have heads and lives for him, as many as I have manors, castles, towns, and towers. Treacherous Warwick, traitorous Mortimer, you villains that have slain my Gaveston, and in this place of honor and of trust, Spencer, sweet Spencer, I adopt thee here. And merely of our love, we do create thee Earl of Gloucester and Lord Chamberlain, despite of times, despite of enemies. Soldiers, good hearts, defend your sovereign's rights, for now, e'en now, we march to make them stoop. Away! Why do we sound retreat?
'Tis not amiss, my liege, for either part to breathe a while. Our men with sweat and dust are choked well near, begin to faint for heat, and therefore refresheth horse and man.
Here come the rebels.
Look, Lancaster, yonder is Edward among his flatterers.
And there let him be, till he pay dearly for their company.
And shall, or Warwick's sword shall smite in vain.
What, rebels, do you shrink and sound retreat?
No, Edward, no. Thy flatterers faint and fly.
They'd best betimes forsake thee and their trains, for they'll betray thee, traitors as they are.
Traitor on thy face, rebellious Lancaster.
Away, base upstart! Bravest thou nobles thus?
A noble attempt and honorable deed. Is it not trow ye to assemble aid and levy arms against your lawful king?
For which ere long their heads shall satisfy to appease the wrath of their offended king.
Then, Edward, thou wilt fight it to the last, and rather bathe thy sword in subjects' blood than banish thy pernicious company?
Aye, traitors all, rather than thus be braved.
A desperate and unnatural resolution. Alarm to the fight. St. George for England and the Baron's right.
St. George for England and King Edward's right. Now, lusty lords, now not by chance of war, but justice of the quarrel and the cause. Veiled is your pride, methinks you hang the heads, but we'll advance them, traitors. Now 'tis time to be avenged on you, for all you braves, and for the murder of my dearest friend, to whom right well you knew our soul was knit. Ah, rebels, recreants, you made him away.
Brother, in regard of thee and of thy land, did they remove that flatter from thy throne?
So, sir, you have spoke. Away. Avoid our presence. Cursed wretches, was't in regard of us that thou, proud Warwick, watched the prisoner, poor Pierce, and headed him against law of arms, for which thy head shall o'erlook the rest, as much as thou in rage outwent'st the rest.
Tyrant, I scorn thy threats and menaces. It is but temporal that thou canst inflict.
The worst is death. And better die to live than live in infamy under such a king.
Away with them, my lord of Winchester. These lusty leaders, Warwick and Lancaster, I charge you roundly, off with both their heads. Away!
Farewell, vain world.
Sweet Mortimer, farewell.
England, unkind to thy nobility, groan for this grief. Behold how thou art maimed.
Go, take that haughty Mortimer to the tower. There see him safe bestowed, and for the rest, do speedy execution for them all. Be gone.
What, Mortimer? Can ragged stony walls immure thy virtue that aspires to heaven? No, Edward, England's scourge, it may not be. Mortimer's hope surmounts his fortune far.
Sound, drums and trumpets. March with me, my friends. Edward, this day hath crowned him king anew.
Proud Edward, dost thou banish me thy presence? But I'll to France, and cheer the wronged queen, and certify what Edward's looseness is unnatural king, to slaughter noblemen and cherish flatterers. Mortimer, I stay thy sweet escape, stand gracious, gloomy night to his device.
Hala, who walketh there? Is you, my lord?
Mortimer is I, but hath a potion wrought so heavily.
It hath, my lord. The warders all asleep. I thanked them, gave them leave to pass in peace, but hath your grace got a shipping to France?
Fear not.
Ah, boy, our friends do fail us all in France. The lords are cruel and the king unkind. What shall we do?
Madame, return to England and please my father well. And then a fig for all my uncle's friendship here in France. I warrant you, I'll win his highness quickly. He loves me better than 1,000 Spencers.
Ah, boy, thou art deceived, at least in this, to think that we can yet be tuned together. No, we jar too far. Unkind Valois. Unhappy Isabel, when France rejects, whither, oh, whither dost thou bend thy steps?
Madam, what cheer?
Ah, good Sir John, if I know. Never so cheerless, nor so far distressed.
I hear, sweet lady of the king's unkindness, but droop not, madam. Noble minds contemn despair. Will your grace with me the Ino, and there stay time's advantage with your son? How say you, my lord? Will you go with your friends and shake off all our fortunes equally?
So please that the queen my mother me it likes. The king of England, not the court of France, shall have me from my gracious mother's side, till I be strong enough to break a staff, and then have at the proudest Spencer's head.
Well said, my lord.
Oh, my sweetheart, how do I moan thy wrongs, yet triumph in the hope of thee, my joy. We will with thee to Ino, so we will. The Marquis is a noble gentleman. His grace, I dare presume, will welcome me. Ah, but who are these?
Madam, long may you live, much happier than your friends in England.
Lord Edmund and Lord Mortimer, alive.
Mortimer, reserved for better hap, hath shaken off the thraldom of the tower, and lives to advance your standard, good my lord.
How mean you and the king my father lives? No, my lord Mortimer, not I trow.
Not son, why not? I would it were no worse. But gentle lords, friendless we are in France.
Yet have we friends, assure your grace, in England, would cast up caps and clap their hands for joy to see us there, appointed for our foes.
But Orwell and Edward well reclaimed for England's honor, peace, and quietness.
But by the sword, my lord, it must be deserved. The king will ne'er forsake his flatterers.
My lords of England, sith the ungentle king of France refuseth to give aid of arms to this distressed queen, his sister here, go you with her to Ino. Doubt ye not we will find comfort, money, men, and friends. How sayest, young prince? What think you of the match?
I think King Edward would outrun us all.
Nay, son, not so. And you must not discourage your friends that are so forward in your aid.
Sir John of Hainaut, pardon us, I pray, these comforts that you give our woeful queen, bind us in kindness all at your command.
Yea, gentle brother, and the God of heaven prosper your happy motion, good Sir John.
Sir John of Hainaut, be it renowned that England's queen and nobles in distress have been by thee restored and comforted.
Madam, along, and you, my lords, with me, that England's peers may see my annals welcome see.
Thus, after many threats of wrathful war, triumpheth England, Edward with his friends, and triumph Edward with his friends uncontrolled. Now, sirs, the news from France. Gloucester, I trow, the lords of France love England's gold so well, as Isabella gets no aid from thence. What now remains? Have you proclaimed, my lord, reward for them can bring in this Mortimer?
My lord, we have. And if he be in England, he will be ad ere long. I doubt it not.
If, dost thou say? Spencer, as true as death, he is in England's ground. Our portmasters are not so careless of their king's command. How now, what news is this? From whence come these? From whence come these?
Letters, my lord, and tidings false of France, to you, my lord of Gloucester.
Read.
My duty to your honor promised, etc. I have, according to instructions in that behalf, dealt with the King of France and his lords, and effected that the Queen, all discontented and discomforted, is gone. Whither you, if you ask, with Sir John of Hainaut, brother to the Marquis, into Flanders. With them are gone Lord Edmund and Lord Mortimer, having in their company divers of your nation and others. And, as constant report goeth, they intend to give King Edward battle in England sooner than he can look for them. This is all the news of import.
Oh, villains! Hath that Mortimer escaped? With him is Edmund gone associate, and with Sir John of Hainaut lead the round. Welcome, oh, God's name, madam and your son. England shall welcome you and all your rout. Nothing grieves me but my little boy is thus misled to countenance their ills. Come, friends, to Bristow, there to make us strong. In winds, as equal be to bring them in, as you injurious were to bear them forth.
Now, lords, our loving friends and countrymen, welcome to England all with prosperous winds. Misgoverned kings are cause of all this wreck, and Edward, thou art one among them all, whose looseness hath betrayed thy land to spoil, who made the channel overflow with blood of thine own people.
Nay, madam, if you be a warrior, you must not grow so passionate in speeches. Lords, sith that we are, by sufferance of heaven, arrived and armed in this prince's right, here for our country's cause, swear we to him all homage, fealty, and forwardness. And for the open wrongs and injuries Edward hath done to us, his queen, and land, we come in arms to wreck it with the sword, that England's queen in peace may repossess her dignities and honors and withal we may remove these flatterers from the king that havoc England's wealth and treasury.
Sound trumpets, my lord, and forward let us march. Edward will think we come to flatter him.
I would he had never been flattered more.
Fly, fly, my lord. The queen is overstrung. Her friends do multiply, and yours do fail. Shape we our course to Ireland, there to breathe.
What, was I born to fly and run away, and leave the Mortimers conquerors behind? Give me my horse, and let's reinforce our troops, and in this day of honor, die with fame.
Oh no, my lord, this princely resolution fits not the time. Away, we are pursued.
Come.
This way he fled, but I am come too late. Edward, alas, my heart bled for thee, proud traitor, Mortimer. Why did thou shame thy lawful king, thy sovereign, thy sword? Edward, this Mortimer aims at thy life. Oh, fly then. But Edmund, calm this rage, dissemble or thou diest, for Mortimer and Isabel do kiss while they conspire. From love that kiss death and hate, Edmund, away! Proud Mortimer plays to thy box.
Successful battle gives the God of kings to them that fight in right and fear in wrath. Since then successfully we have prevailed, thanked be heaven's great architect, and you. Ere farther we proceed, my noble lords, we here create our well-beloved son, Lord Warden of the Realm.
Madam, without sense, I may ask, how you Edward in fall?
Tell me, good uncle, what Edward do you mean?
Nephew, your father, I know what you mean.
My lord of Kent needs these questions. 'Tis not in her controlment, nor in ours, but as the realm and parliament shall please, so shall your brother be disposed of. I like not this relenting mood in Edmund.
My lord, the mayor of Bristow knows our mind.
Yea, madam, and they scape not easily till that fled the field.
Baldock is with the king, a goodly chancellor, is he not?
So are the Spencers, the father and the son.
This Edward is the ruin of the realm.
God save Queen Isabel and her princely son, madam. The mayor and citizens of Bristow, in sign of love and duty to this present, present by me this traitor to the state, Spencer, the father of that wanton Spencer.
We thank you all.
Your loving care in this deserveth princely favors and rewards. But where's the king and the other Spencer fled?
Spencer, the son, created Earl of Gloucester, is with that smooth-tongued scholar Baldock gone, and shipped but late for Ireland when the king.
Shall I not see the king my father yet?
Madam, what resteth? Why stand you in a muse?
I rue my lord's ill fortune. But alas, care of my country called me to this war.
Madame, have done with care and sad complaint. Your king hath wronged your country and himself, and we must seek to right it as we may. Meanwhile, have hence this rebel to the block.
Rebel is he that fights against the prince. So fought not they that fought in Edward's right.
Take him away, he prates. You, Risapal, shall do good service to her majesty to follow these rebellious renegades. We, in meanwhile, madam, must take advice how Baldock, Spencer, and their complices may in their fall be followed to their end.
Have you no doubt, my lord, have you no fear? As silent, as careful we will be to keep your royal person safe with us, free from suspect and fell invasion.
Father, thy face should harbor no deceit. Father, this life contemplative is heaven. Oh, that I might this life in quiet lead. But we, alas, are chaste. And you, my friends, your lives and my dishonor they pursue. Yet, gentle monks, for treasure, gold, nor fee do you betray us in our company.
Your grace may sit secure, if none but we do what of your abode.
Not one alive. But shrewdly I suspect a gloomy fellow in a mead below. He gave a long look after us, my lord, and all the land I know is up in arms, arms that pursue our lives with deadly hate.
We were embarked for Ireland, wretched we, with awkward winds and with sore tempests driven, to fall on shore and here to pine in fear of Mortimer and his confederates.
Mortimer, who talks of Mortimer, who wounds me with the name of Mortimer.
Look up, my lord. Baldic, this drowsiness betides no good. Here, even we are betrayed.
Upon my life, these be the men ye seek.
Fellow enough. My lord, I pray be short. A fair commission warrants what we do.
The Queen's commission, urged by Mortimer. I cannot gallant Mortimer with the Queen. Alas, see where he sits and hopes unseen to escape the hands that seek to reave his life. Spencer and Baldock, by no other names, I arrest you of high treason here. 'Tis in the name of Isabel the Queen. My lord, why droop you thus?
O day, the last of all my bliss on earth, comes Leicester then in Isabella's name to take my life, my company from me.
Away with them!
It may become thee yet, to let us take our farewell of his grace.
Spencer, oh sweet Spencer, thus then we must part.
We must, my lord. So will the angry heavens.
Nay, so will hell and cruel Mortimer. The gentle heavens have naught to do with this.
Here humbly of your grace we take our leaves. Our lots are cast. I fear me so is thine.
In heaven we may. In earth ne'er shall we meet again. And Leicester, say, what shall become of us?
Your Majesty must go to Killingworth.
Must! It is somewhat hard when kings must go. Let Pluto's bells ring out my fatal knell, for friends hath Edward, none but these. And these must die under a tyrant's sword.
My lord, be going, care not for these, for we shall see them with shorter heads.
Well, that shall be, shall be. Part we must, sweet Spencer. Gentle Baldock, part we must. Hence, feigned weeds, unfeigned are my woes. And go I must. Life, farewell with my friends.
Oh! Is he gone? Is noble Edward gone? Parted from hence, never to see us more.
Die, sweet Spencer. Therefore live we all.
Be patient, good my lord, cease to lament. Imagine Killingworth Castle were your court, and that you lay here for pleasure here a space.
Leicester, if gentle words might comfort me, thy speeches long ago had eased my sorrows. But tell me, must I now resign my crown, to make usurping Mortimer a king?
Your grace mistakes. It is for England's good and princely Edward's right we crave the crown.
No, 'tis for Mortimer, not Edward's head. For he's a lamb, encompassed by wolves. But if proud Mortimer do wear this crown, heavens turn it to a blaze of quenchless fire. So shall not England's vine be perished, but Edward's name survive, though Edward dies.
My lord, why waste you thus the time away? They stay your answer. Will you yield your crown?
Here, take my crown. The life of Edward, too. 2 kings in England cannot reign at once. But stay a while. Let me be king till night. All times and seasons rest you at a stay, that Edward may be still fair England's king. But day's bright beams doth vanish fast away, and needs I must resign my wished crown. Inhuman creatures, nursed with tiger's milk, why gape you for your sovereign's overthrow? My diadem, I mean, and guiltless life. See, monsters, see? I'll wear my crown again. What? Fear you not the fury of your king? But hapless Edward, thou art fondly led. They pass not for thy frowns as late they did, but seek to make a new elected king, which fills my mind with strange and despairing thoughts, which thoughts are martyred with endless torments, and in this torment comfort find I none, but that I feel this crown upon my head, and therefore let me wear it just this while.
My lord, the Parliament must have present news, and therefore say, will you resign or no?
I'll not resign, but whilst I live, be king. Traitors, be gone, and join you with Mortimer. Elect, conspire, install, do what you will. Their blood and yours shall seal these treacheries.
This answer will return, and so farewell.
Call them again, my lord, and speak them fair, for if they go, the prince shall lose his right.
Call thou them back. I have no power to speak.
My lord, the king is willing to resign.
If he be not, let him choose.
Would I might, but heavens and earth conspire to make me miserable. Here, receive my crown. Receive it? No. These innocent hands of mine shall not be guilty of so foul a crime. He of you all that most desires my blood, and will be called the murderer of a king, take it. Here. Here! Come, death, and with thy fingers close my eyes, or if I live, let me forget myself.
My lord.
Pardon me. Grief makes me lunatic. Let not that Mortimer protect my son. More safety there is in a tiger's jaws than his embracements. Bear this to the queen, wet with my tears, dried again with my sighs. If, with the sight thereof, she be not moved, return it back and dip it in my blood. Commend me to my son, and bid him rule better than I. Yet how have I transgressed, unless it be with too much clemency?
And thus most humbly do we take our leave.
Farewell. I know the next news that they bring will be my death, and welcome shall it be. To wretched men, death is felicity.
Another post. What news brings he?
Such news as I expect. Come, Barclay, come and tell thy message to my naked breast.
My lord, think not a thought so villainous can harbor in a man of noble birth, to do your highness service and devoir, and save you from your foes. Berkeley would die.
My lord, the council of the queen command that I resign my charge.
And who must keep me now?
Aye, my most gracious lord, so 'tis decreed.
By Mortimer, whose name is written here. Well, may I rent his name that rends my heart. This poor revenge hath something eased my mind, so may his limbs be torn as is this paper. Hear me, immortal Jove, and grant it too.
Your grace must hence with me to Berkeley straight.
Whither you will, all places are alike, and every earth is fit for burial.
Favor him, my lord, as much as lieth in you.
Even so betide my soul as I use him.
Mine enemy hath pitied my estate, and that's the cause that I am now removed.
And thinks your grace that Berkeley will be cruel?
I know not, but of this I am assured, that death ends all, and I can die but once. Leicester, farewell.
Not yet, my lord. I'll bear you on your way.
Fair Isabel, now have we our desire. The proud corrupters of the light-brained king have done their homage to the lofty gallows, and he himself lies in captivity. Be ruled by me, and we will rule the realm. And in care for, madam, that imports us much to erect your son with all the speed we may, and that I be protector over him. For our behoof, 'twill bear the greater sway when as a king's name shall be under writ.
Sweet Mortimer, the life of Isabel, be thou persuaded that I love thee well. And therefore, so the prince my son be safe, whom I esteem as dear as these mine eyes, conclude against his father what thou wilt. And I myself will willingly subscribe.
First, I would hear news he were deposed, and then let me alone to handle him. Letters, from whence?
From Killingworth, my lord?
How fares the lord my king?
In health, madam, but full of pensiveness.
Alas, poor soul, would I could ease his grief. Thanks, gentle Winchester. Sirrah, be gone.
The king hath willingly resigned his crown.
Oh, happy news. Send for the prince, my son.
Further, or this letter was sealed, Lord Berkeley came, so that he now is gone from Killingworth. And we have heard that Edmund laid a plot to set his brother free, nor more, but so the Lord of Berkeley is so pitiful as Leicester that had charge of him before.
Then let some other be his guardian.
Let me alone. Here is the privy seal. Who's there? Call hither Gurney and Matrevis. To dash the heavy-handed Edmund's drift, Berkeley shall be discharged, the king removed, and none but we shall know where he lieth.
But Mortimer, as long as he survives, what safety rests for us or for my son?
Speak. Shall he presently be dispatched and die?
I would he were, so 'twere not by my means.
Enough. Matrevis. Write a letter presently unto the Lord of Berkeley from ourself, that he resigns the king to thee and Gurney. And when 'tis done, we will subscribe our name.
It shall be done, my lord.
Gurney,
My lord?
as thou intend to rise by Mortimer, who now makes fortune's wheel turn as he please, seek all the means thou canst to make him droop, and neither give him kind word nor good look.
I warrant you, my lord.
And this above the rest, because we hear that Edmund cast to work his liberty, move him still from place to place by night, till at last he come to Killingworth, and then from thence to Berkeley back again. And by the way, make him fret the more, speak courteously to him, and in any case let no man comfort him. If he chance to weep, but amplify his grief with bitter words.
Fear not, my lord, we'll do as you command.
So, now away. Post thither words amain.
Whither goes this letter? To my lord the king? Commend me humbly to his majesty, and tell him that I labor all in vain to ease his grief and work his liberty, and bear him this as witness of my love.
I will, madam.
Finely dissembled. Do so still, sweet queen. Here comes the young prince with the Earl of Kent.
Something he whispers in his childish ears.
If he have such access to the prince, our plots and stratagems will soon be dashed.
Use Edmund friendly, as if all were well.
How fares my honorable lord of Kent?
In health, sweet Mortimer, how fares your grace?
Well, if my lord your brother were enlarged.
I hear of late he hath disposed himself.
The more my grief.
And mine.
Ah, they do dissemble.
Come, Sweet son, I must talk with thee.
You, being his uncle and the next of blood, do look to be protector or the prince?
Not I, my lord, who should protect the son, but she that gave him life. I mean the queen.
Mother, persuade me not to wear the crown. Let him be king. I am too young to reign.
But be content, seeing 'tis his highness' pleasure.
Let me but see him first, and then I will.
I do sweet you.
Brother, you know it is impossible.
Why, is he dead?
No, God forbid.
I would those were receded from your heart.
Constant Edmund, dost thou favor him that worst cause of his imprisonment?
The more cause now have I to make amends.
I tell thee, 'tis not meet that one so false should come about the person of a prince. My lord, he hath betrayed the king his brother, and therefore trust him not.
But he repents and sorrows for it now.
Come, son, and go with this gentle lord and me.
With you I will, but not with Mortimer.
Why, youngling, stain'st thou so of Mortimer? Then I will carry thee away by force.
Help, Uncle Kent! Mortimer will wrong me!
Brother Edmund, strive not. We are his friends. Isabel is nearer than the Earl of Kent.
Sister, Edward is my charge. Redeem him.
Edward is my son, and I will keep him.
Mortimer shall that hath wronged me. Hence I with haste to kill a cat and rescue Edward from his foes, to be revenged on Mortimer and thee.
My lord, be not pensive. We are your friends. Men are ordained to live in misery. Therefore come. Dalliance dangereth our lives.
Friends, whither must unhappy Edward go? Will hateful Mortimer appoint no rest? When will his heart be satisfied with blood? If mine will serve, unbow straight my breast.
Not so, my liege. The queen hath given this charge to keep your grace in safety.
Ugh, this usage makes my misery increase. But can my air of life continue long when all my senses are annoyed with stench? Within a dungeon England's king is kept? My daily diet is my heartbreaking sobs. Oh, water, gentle friends, to cool my thirst and clear my body from these foul excrements.
Here's channel water, as our charge is given. Sit down, for we'll be your barbers to your grace.
Traitors, away! What, will you murder me? Or choke your sovereign with puddle water?
No, but wash your face and shave away your beard, lest you be known and so be rescued.
Why strive you thus? Your labor is in vain.
The wren may strive against the lion's strength, but all in vain. So vainly do I strive to seek for mercy at a tyrant's hand. O Gaveston, it is for thee that I am wronged. For me, both thou and both the Spencers died, and for your sakes, 1,000 wrongs I'll take. The Spencers' ghosts, wherever they remain, wish well to mine. Then tush, for them, I'll die.
Twixt theirs and yours shall be no enmity. Come away. Now put the torches out. We'll enter in by darkness to Killingworth.
How now? Who comes there?
Guard the king, sure. It is the Earl of Kent.
Oh, gentle brother, help to rescue me.
Keep them asunder. Thrust in the king.
Soldiers, let me but taunt him one word.
Lay hands upon the Earl for his assault.
Lay down your wits, traitors. Yield the king.
Edmund, yield thou thyself, or thou shalt die.
Base villains, where do you grip me?
Bind him, and so convey him to the court.
Where is the court but here? Here is king, and I visit him. Why sting me?
The court is where Lord Mortimer remains. Thither shall your honor go. And so farewell.
Oh, miserable, that is commonweal, where lords keep court and kings are locked in prison.
Wherefore stay we? On, sirs, to the court.
Aye, lead whither you lead to my death, seeing that my brother. cannot be released.
The king must die, or Mortimer goes down. The commons now begin to pity him, yet he that is the cause of Edward's death is sure to pay for it when his son's of age. Therefore will I do it cunningly. This letter, written by a friend of ours, contains his death, yet bids them save his life. Edwardum occidere nolite timere bonum est. Fear not to kill the king, 'tis good he die. But read it thus. That's another sense. Edwardum occidere nolite timere bonum est. Kill not the king, 'tis good to fear the worst. And pointed as it is, it shall go, that being dead, if it chances ever be found, Matrevis and the rest may bear the blame, and we may be quit that caused it to be done. Within this room is locked the messenger that shall convey it and perform the rest. And by a secret token that he bears, shall he be murdered when the deed is done. Lightborn, come forth. Art thou so resolute as thou was?
What else, my lord, and far more resolute?
And hast thou cast how to accomplish it?
Aye, and none shall know which way he died.
But at his looks, Lightborn, thou wilt relent.
Relent? I use much to relent.
Well, do it bravely. Be secret.
You shall not need to give instructions. 'Tis not the first time I have killed a man. I learned in Naples how to poison flowers, to strangle with a lawn thrust down the throat, to pierce the windpipe with a needle's point, or, whilst one is asleep, to take a quill and blow a little powder in his ears, or open his mouth and pour quicksilver down. But yet I have a braver way than these.
What's that?
Nay, you shall pardon me. None shall know my tricks.
I care not how it is, so it be not spied. Deliver this to Gurney and Matrevis. At every 10 mile thou hast a horse. Take this. Away and never see me more.
No?
No. Unless thou bring me news of Edward's death.
That will I quickly do. Farewell, my lord.
The prince I rule, the queen do I command. I seal, I cancel, I do what I will. Feared am I more than loved. Let me be feared. And when I frown, make all the court look pale. They thrust upon me the protectorship and sue to me for that I desire. And to conclude, I am protector now. Now all is sure. The queen and Mortimer shall rule the realm. The king, and none rule us. Mine enemies will I plague, my friends advance, and what I list command, who dare control? Maior sum quam qui possit fortuna note. And that this be the coronation day. It pleaseth me, and Isabel the queen. The trumpets sound. I must go take my place.
Long live King Edward, by the grace of God, King of England and Lord of Ireland.
If any dares but affirm that Edward's not true king and will avouch his saying with the sword, I am the champion that will combat him.
None comes. Sound the trumpets.
Champion, here's to thee.
Lord Mortimer, Now take him to your charge.
Ooh. What traitor have we there with blades and bills?
Edmund, the Earl of Kent.
What hath he done?
I would have taken the king away perforce as we were bringing him to Killingworth.
Did you attempt his rescue, Edmund? Speak.
Mortimer, I did. He is our king. And thou compellest the prince to wear the crown.
Strike off his head. He shall have martial law.
Strike off my head, base traitor. I defy thee.
My lord, he is your enemy. My lord, he is my uncle and shall live.
My lord, he is your enemy and shall die.
Say, villain.
Sweet mother, if I cannot pardon him, entreat my lord protector for his life.
And be content, I dare not speak a word.
Nor I, and yet methinks I should command. But seeing I cannot, I'll entreat for him. My lord, if you will let my uncle live, I will requite it when I come to age.
'Tis for your highness' good, and for the realms. How often shall I bid you bear him hence?
Art thou king? Must I die at thy command?
At our command! Once more, away with him!
Let me but stay and speak. I will not go. Either my brother or his son is king, and none of both them thirst for blood, and therefore, soldiers, whither will you hail me?
What safety may I look for at his hands, if that my uncle shall be murdered thus?
Fear not, sweet boy. I'll guard thee from thy foes. Had Edmund lived, he would have sought thy death. Come, son, we'll ride a hunting in the park.
Shall my uncle Edmund ride with us?
He is a traitor. Think not on him. Come.
Gurney, I wonder the king dies not, being in a vault up to the knees in water that were enough to poison any man, much more a king brought up so tenderly.
And so do I, Matrevis. Yesternight I opened but the door to throw him meat, and I was almost stifled with the savor.
He hath a body able to endure more than we can inflict, and therefore now let us assail his mind another while.
Send for him out thence, and I will anger him.
But stay. Who's this?
My lord protector greets you.
What's there? I know not how to construe it.
Gurney, it was left unpointed for the nonce. Edwardum occidere nolite timere. That's his meaning.
Know you this token? I must have the king.
Aye, stay a while. Thou shalt have an answer straight. This villain sent to make away the king.
I thought as much.
And when the murder's done, see how he must be handled for his labor. Periadiste, let him have the king. What else? Here is the keys. This is the lake. Do as you are commanded by my lord.
I know what I must do. Get you away. Yet be not far off. I shall need your help. See that in the next room I have a fire. Get me a spit and let it be red hot.
Very well.
Need you anything besides?
What else? A table and a feather bed.
That's all?
Aye. Aye. So when I call you, bring it in.
Fear not thou that.
So, now, must I about this gear? Ne'er was there any so finely handled as this king shall be. For here's a place indeed with all my heart.
Who's there? What light is this? Wherefore comest thou?
To comfort you and bring you joyful news.
Small comfort finds poor Edward in thy looks. Villain, I know thou comest to murder me.
To murder you, my most gracious lord. Far is it from my heart to do you harm. The queen sent me to see how you were used, for she relents at this your misery. And what I can refrain from shedding tears to see a king in this most piteous state.
Weep'st thou already? List a while to me, and then thy heart, where it is Gurney's is, or as Matrevis's, hewn from the Caucasus, yet will it melt ere I have done my tale. This dungeon where they keep me is the sink, wherein the filth of all the castle falls.
Oh, villain!
And there, in mire and puddle, have I stood this 10 days' space, and lest that I should sleep one place continually upon a drum, my mind's distempered and my body's numbed, and whether I have limbs or no, I know not. Oh, would my blood dropped out from every vein as doth this water from my tattered robes. Tell Isabel, the queen, I looked not thus, when for her sake I ran at tilt in France, and there unhorsed the Duke of Clermont.
Oh, speak no more, my lord. This breaks my heart. Lie on this bed and rest yourself a while.
These looks of thine can harbor naught but death. I see my tragedy written in those brows. Yet stay a while. Forbear thy bloody hand, and let me see the stroke before it comes. That even then, when I shall lose my life, my mind may more be steadfast with God.
What means your highness to mistrust me thus?
What meanst thou to dissemble with me thus?
These hands were ne'er stained with innocent blood, nor shall they now be tainted with a king's.
Forgive my thought for having such a thought. One jewel have I left. Receive thou this. Still fear I, and I know not what's the cause, but every joint shakes as I give it thee. Oh, if thou harbor murder in thy heart, let this gift change thy mind and save thy soul. Know that I am a king. Oh, at that name I feel a hell of grief. Where is my crown? Gone, gone. And do I still remain alive?
You're overwatched, my lord. Lie down and rest.
But that grief keeps me waking. I should sleep. For not these 10 days have these eyelids closed. Now, as I speak, they fall. Yet with fear, open again. Oh, wherefore sitst thou here?
If you mistrust me, I'll be gone, my lord.
No, no. For if thou meanst to murder me, thou wilt return again. Therefore stay.
He sleeps.
Oh, let me not die yet. Stay a while.
How now, my lord?
Something still buzzeth within mine ears and tells me if I sleep, I never will wake. This fear is that which makes me tremble thus, and therefore tell me, wherefore art thou come?
To rid thee of thy life. Matrevis, come! Tell me, sirs, was it not bravely done?
Excellent, well. Take this for thy reward. Come, let us cast the body in the moat and bear the king to Mortimer our lord. Away!
It's done, Matrevis, and the murderer dead.
Aye, my good lord, I would it were undone.
Matrevis, if thou growest penitent, I'll be thy ghostly father. Therefore choose whether thou wilt be secret in this, or else die by the hand of Mortimer.
Gurney, my lord, is fled, and will, I fear, betray us both. Therefore let me fly.
Fly to the savages.
I humbly thank you, your honor.
for myself, I stand as Jove's huge tree, and all others are but shrubs compared to me. All tremble at my name, and I fear none. Let's see who dares impeach me for his death.
Mortimer, the king my son hath news. His father's dead, and we have murdered him.
What if he have? The king is a child.
Aye, but he tears his hair and wrings his hands and vows to be revenged upon us both. Now, Mortimer, begins our tragedy.
Villain!
Not my lord.
Oh, now, my lord!
Know that you are king.
Not that I am frighted with thy words. My father's murdered through thy treachery, and thou shalt die, and on his mournful hearse thy hateful and accursed head shall lie.
Weep not, sweet son.
Forbid me not to weep. He was my father. And had you loved him half so well as I, you could not bear his death thus patiently. But you, I fear, conspired with Mortimer.
Why speak you not unto my lord, the king?
Oh, because I scorn to be accused. Who is the man who dares say I murdered him?
Traitor! In me my loving father speaks, and plainly saith, 'twas thou that murderest him.
But hath your grace no other proof than this?
Yes, if this be the hand of Mortimer.
False Gurney hath betrayed me.
I feared as much. Murder cannot be hid.
It is my hand. What gather you by this?
That thither thou didst send a murderer.
What murderer? Bring forth the man. I sent.
Mortimer, thou knowest that he is slain, and so shalt thou be too. Why stays he here? Bring him unto a hurdle, drag him forth, hang him, I say, and set his quarters up, and bring his head back presently to me.
For my sake, sweet son, pity Mortimer.
Madam, entreat not. I will rather die than sue for life unto a paltry boy.
Hence with the traitor, with the murderer!
Base fortune. Now I see that in thy wheel there is a point to which when men aspire they tumble headlong down. That point I touched, and seeing there was no place to mount up higher, what should I grieve at my declining fall? Farewell, fair queen. Weep not for Mortimer, that scorns the world, and as a traveler goes to discover countries yet unknown.
What, suffer you the traitor to delay?
As thou receivest thy life from me, spill not the blood of gentle Mortimer.
Argues that you spilt my father's blood. Else would you not entreat for Mortimer?
I spill his blood. No!
Ay, madam, you. For so the rumor runs.
That rumor is untrue. For loving thee is this report raised on poor Isabel.
I do not think her so unnatural.
My lord, I fear me it will prove too true.
Mother, you are suspected for his death, and therefore we commit you to the tower, till further trial may be made thereof. If you be guilty, though I be your son, think not to find me slack or pitiful.
Nay, to my death! For too long have I lived, whereas my son thinks to abridge my days.
Away with her! Her words enforce these tears, and I shall pity her if she speaks again.
Shall I not mourn for my beloved lord, and with the rest accompany him to his grave?
Thus, madam, 'tis the king's will you shall hence.
He hath forgotten me. Stay, I am his mother!
That boots not. Therefore, gentle madam, go.
Then come, sweet death, and rid me of this grief!
My lord, here is the head of Mortimer.
Go fetch my father's hearse, while it where it shall lie, and bring my funeral robes. The cursed head. Could I have ruled thee then as I do now, thou hadst not hatched this monstrous treachery. Here comes the hearse. Help me to mourn, my lords. Sweet Father, hear unto thy murdered ghost. I offer up the wicked traitor's head. And let these tears distilling from mine eyes be witness of my grief and innocency.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to our reading of Christopher Marlowe's Edward II, and to our wonderful cast and the production team and designers who came on board. We can take a few minutes for a Q&A, so if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them into the YouTube chat, and I'll be watching them and presenting them to the actors. While we're waiting, John, do you want to say anything about working on this play and Marlowe in particular?
Well, I mean, I fell in love with the language upon reading it when you sent it to me, and I was like, man, like this is both like it is epic, it is poetic, but it's also so extra. Like it is so there's so much shade, there's so much like wit going back and forth, and I was really excited to just let people be their pettiest selves. But yeah, I mean this was a lot of fun. Well, I really didn't know what else to say. I wasn't prepared, but this was, I mean, like, I don't know, this cast made my job so easy. So easy. Because they're all fantastic.
They are. John, can you give a shout out to your design team as well?
Yes, absolutely. So for design, we had Deb Savigny, who designed these beautiful backgrounds for us. She drew them in like a matter of hours, y'all. So like hard props and hard dabs to Deb Savigny for pulling that off. Nusha put together that lovely underscoring and transition music so we could buy some time for people to change backgrounds and screens and costumes and whatnot. And we had Jeanette Christensen come in and source us some props, and like the crown in particular, which I adored. And on top of it, we also had come in pretty last minute too, Emily Suture for the intimacy choreography, and John Rubin for that violence and that hashtag table work, as we saw in the group chat. Yeah, and then so you know, hard props and hard dabs to Jordan Friend for helping us troubleshoot a bunch of stuff, and of course, where would we be without the work of Claire Kimball, whose dramaturgy made this so easy for us to dive into. And of course, shout out to you, Charlene, for, you know, putting this all together and giving us a space to play and have all this fun.
Yeah, it's been great fun to get to see the reading festival start this week. And not seeing any questions come in, but that's okay. We had a lot of people watching and enjoying along. So I'll just note that I'm enjoying watching the way these plays connect as well. For those of you who tuned in last night, at the end of George Peele's Troublesome Reign of King John, you saw John's son Henry be crowned king. Henry's son was Edward I, and Edward I's son was Edward II, who we met tonight. There is a play about Edward I, but it didn't make it into our reading festival this time around. At the end of this play, you saw Edward II's son be crowned Edward III, and it's the play about him that we will return to next Monday night. So subscribe to our YouTube channel for the notifications for when that goes up, and we hope to see you there.